I went 9-7 on my picks last week. We're going to have to improve on week 4. We'll see what we can do. But before I get into it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications so you can get notified every time I get a new video. Here is the intro. Welcome to another edition of Coffee Break Sports. I am your sports barista, Rod the Magnificent, back with another episode. We are in week 4, ladies and gentlemen, of NFL action. And enough of me rambling. Let's get to my picks. You saw how I did last week. Let's see if I can improve off my 9-7 record. And we're going to start with Thursday's matchup. As of today's recording, that's happening tonight, the Cardinals going up against the Seahawks. And the Seahawks look pretty stronger than I expected them to look this season. They have a lot of good young weapons, especially on offense. JSN is having himself a career year to start off, thanks to Darnold at quarterback, who really locks in to receivers he really likes. Go see his chemistry with Justin Jefferson of last season. But Cardinals are at home for this one, coming off a heartbreaking loss to the San Francisco 49ers. I got the Cardinals at home on this one. With a matchup like this, I'm going to go with the home team because I think Seattle can pull off the win as well. As a matter of fact, they're a 1.5 point favorite. But I think the Cardinals will hold serve at home. The NFC West is a lot stronger than I thought it was going to be, especially taking that San Francisco is 3-0 with a bevy of injuries, especially losing Bosa for the rest of the season or a torn ACL. I mean, the NFC West is pretty stacked, but this is where things gets broken down a little bit more as a lot of these teams start to battle within the division. So we'll see who's the strong, we'll see who's the weak. But until then, we'll see what happens. I got the Cardinals in this one, even though they are an underdog. Now, let's go to our Sunday games. First, to kick off Sunday, and remember, fantasy fans, keep this game in mind. If you have any players from either one of these teams, that this game is starting at 8:30 a.m. So that's just a kind reminder to you all to make sure you set your clocks early so you can set up those fantasy teams. But we got the Minnesota Vikings going up against the Steelers, and the Steelers are a very confusing team. One moment they look really good, the next moment they look very bad, the next moment they look very average, whereas the Vikings really should be 1-2 thanks to my Bears. But hey, the Vikings stand there at 2-1. They came off a pretty easy victory over the Bengals, and now they have the Steelers. The Minnesota Vikings are a 2.5 point favorite, and with Carson Wentz at the helm, the offense has better flow in comparison to when JJ was out there. And so I just think that the Steelers are too inconsistent for their own good. Aaron Rodgers looks old. He doesn't look like the Aaron Rodgers we saw in week 1. He looks very, very stiff out there. Now, he had a better performance against the Patriots, but still nothing mind-blowing. But I think the Vikings win this one, and there is no home field advantage for this one. So I give the Vikings the edge here since they're used to playing indoors. Up next, going to after our noon games, our early games, we have the Washington Commanders going up against the Falcons. Falcons coming off an embarrassing performance against the Carolina Panthers, getting shut out 30-0. And the Washington Redskins the Commanders coming off a huge win over the Raiders. And I got Washington in this one. I just think they're overall the better team. The Falcons, they're a work in progress. They're not there yet. And I think Washington walks away with the victory. Jaden Daniels should be back for this game, but even if he's not back, I still think the Commanders win this one. They are a 1 point favorite. Up next, we got the Buffalo Bills going up against the Saints. Not going to expound on this one too long. I got the Bills winning this one. They are a 15.5 point favorite. I think the Bills are the best team in the NFL right now, and they're flying high on all cylinders. I think they have an easy time with the Saints at home. Up next, we got the Lions going up against the Browns. Browns coming off a very impressive come from behind victory in the fourth quarter against the Green Bay Packers. And they will square off in Detroit up against the Lions, coming off a very impressive performance against the Baltimore Ravens. And the Lions, I still think that the Lions are the best team in the NFC North, and I think they will show it here. The Browns do have a great defense. They have a great defense. They're going to make this game tight, but I just think the Lions have too much explosiveness on offense for them not to win this game. I just think they have too much firepower for the Browns to keep up with, and the Lions are a 10-point favorite. Up next, I got the Patriots going up against the Panthers. The Patriots, every time I pick them, they lose, man. But they're at home. They're at home, and Patriots should win this game because they're at home, but they're not playing the best. Panthers riding high off. The Panthers coming off a huge 30 goose egg blowout of the Falcons, and the Panthers, I said it during my division preview episode that I think the Panthers are stronger than they have been over the last couple of years, but I still don't think they are taking that next step to being an elite team in the division. But if the Falcons are going to be that bad, man, Panthers have a good chance of creeping up in their own division. But the Patriots, you better not let me down. You guys are at home. I'm going to go with the home team here. They are a 5.5-point favorite, and I think they win this game. I hope they win this game. Up next, we got the Giants going up against the Chargers. The Giants making a quarterback change, putting in Jackson Dart at quarterback, the rookie. He will be starting in his first game against the Chargers, a Charger team who has been red hot. I think is the second best AFC team in the conference. And Justin Herbert is looking like an early candidate for regular season MVP. And Jim Harbaugh has got that defense flying. He's got the offense clicking on all cylinders. They came off a very impressive victory over a tough Broncos team. I got the Chargers winning this one easy. They are a 6.5-point favorite. Up next, we got a big showdown in Tampa. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers going up against the Eagles. Eagles squeezing out a victory against the Rams. I had the Rams beating the Eagles last week, and I'm going to keep choosing against the Eagles until they finally lose a game. And not because I don't like the Eagles. Guys, don't think I'm an Eagles hater in this. But I just think the Buccaneers will be ready for this game. Now, the Buccaneers will be without Mike Evans, unfortunately, for me, because I have Mike Evans in fantasy. And so I'm a little disappointed about that. But hey, I think Tampa still has some good young talent at wide receiver. They will struggle a little bit without Mike Evans because, you don't have that cushion. But I just don't think the Eagles have been impressive enough. I mean, they got fortunate last week to pull off that victory over the Rams, but they just haven't been dominant this year. This is not the same Eagles team. And I think a lot of it has to do with teams are looking them as a target. They're the Super Bowl defending champions. And so teams are going to be giving them their best. And the Eagles are just ducking and dodging their way to these victories. And so I think that stops here. I think the Bucs stops here as I got the Bucs winning this game. They are a 3.5-point favorite. I'm taking the Bucs and the points. We got the Tennessee Titans going up against the Texans. And the Texans, I don't know what's wrong with CJ Stroud, man. I don't know. But he's going to have to figure it out very quick, because if he doesn't win this game against the Tennessee Titans, be looking for a lot of headlines in the sports world the following week to be about CJ Stroud and what is going on with him. But I think they bounce back. They get an easy game on their schedule against the Titans, who are a lottery team at best. The Houston Texans are a 7-point favorite. I think they win, and I think they cover. And now on to the late afternoon games. We got the Colts going up against the Rams. And yes, I apologize to Daniel Jones about calling him a bum earlier this year. But are we looking at a Fitzpatrick imitation? where we got a quarterback who's a journeyman quarterback. He lands on a team, gets a team off to a good start because of his experience. But the league figures out, hey, it's Fitzpatrick. Why are we struggling with this dude? And I think it's the same thing with Daniel Jones. So they've had a weak schedule. They've had the Miami Dolphins fall on their lap. They've had a couple of weak matchups fall on their laps. And now they have a very tough Rams team who's going to be coming back home, very upset that they let one slip away in Philly. And I think the Rams win this game. They are a 3.5-point favorite. I am not sold on the coach yet. They have to win games like this in order for me to be sold. So it starts here. Colts fans, don't be mad at me. I need you guys to sit down and see what they can do against a real competitive team. Up next, we got the 49ers going up against the Jaguars. The 49ers are the most confusing NFL team that I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, this whole team is hurt, and they're winning with a bunch of, like, I don't know, scab players. I mean, are we back in 1988 of the NFL where you got a bunch of scabs playing for the San Francisco 49ers and winning games? I mean, Mac Jones has been resurrected from the dead. You got these wide receivers that we never heard of playing a very impressive close victory over a Cardinals team that I thought was pretty much on paper better than the San Francisco team. I mean, the odds are stacked against San Francisco every game, and they're pulling off these victories. I just don't understand. And a lot of it has to do with great coaching. And Shanahan, you got to take your hat off to him, man. They're not blowing you away with dominant football or anything like that. They're just grinding out these wins, and they're looking impressive while doing it. It don't seem like the ball is bouncing their way by chance here. I mean, the San Francisco 49ers are really winning these games convincingly. And you have the Jaguars coming to town, which I still think is the best team in the AFC South. And I think the Jaguars are underrated. I think defensively they've gotten better. Hunter had a very impressive performance last week covering on defense. And so I think the Jaguars come in this game and they win. I think they give the San Francisco 49ers their first loss. It'll be a tight game. I'll take the Jaguars and the points on that one. Up next, we got a showdown between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. This is a rematch of a AFC Championship matchup from 2 years ago, where the Chiefs came out on top to go on to repeat as champions. And now they face a Ravens team that have a lot of question marks. And I know a lot of people are ready to kick dirt on Derrick Henry, and I think that's nonsense. Yes, Derrick Henry did have 2 critical fumbles this season that led to a couple of their losses, but you can't put all the blame on Derrick Henry. Lamar Jackson's not playing well, guys. He's playing okay. He's not playing at the MVP caliber that he was playing last season, and their defense looks a step slower. They're very overrated. To be honest, I mean, they're giving up a lot of points. They're giving up a lot of long drives. And the Kansas City Chiefs, even though their offense is not as explosive as it once was, the master of long drives that will waste time off the clock is none other than Patrick Mahomes. And so look for the Chiefs to slow this game down, not like keep the ball away from the Baltimore Ravens, because don't get me wrong, they're going to score some points. But the Kansas City Chiefs defense is starting to pick up their stride, and they played very well against Philly. They really shut down the Giants, and so this team defensively is just as good as they were last year. I think Patrick Mahomes looks a lot more. I think last year I felt like that was career-wise. I thought was Patrick Mahomes' worst year at quarterback. This year, he looks like he got a little bit more bounce to his step. It looks like he's playing with a little bit more determination. He's keeping drives alive by making one big throw after another. And I think the Chiefs go on and win this game. They are a 2.5-point underdog. I'll take the Chiefs and I'll take the points here. Up next, we got the Chicago Bears going up against the Raiders in Las Vegas. The Vegas Raiders coming off a humiliating blowout loss to the Washington Commanders, while the Chicago Bears humiliate and blow out the Dallas Cowboys at home, thanks to a NFC Player of the Week worthy performance by Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams looked very sharp against a very weak Dallas Cowboy defense. But give him credit where credit is due. I get tired of these people that don't want to give credit when a player does what he's supposed to do against a weaker opponent. But like, what you want them to do? Just throw interceptions to a weaker opponent, play like trash against a weaker opponent? What do great teams do? They beat the bad teams and they are competitive with the good teams, right? And so, yes, they wasn't competitive with the Lions. They beat an inferior Dallas team. We have an inferior Raiders team on the road. And I think this is going to be a true test for Caleb. I think what I need to see more from Caleb is how he conquers adversity on the road. This will be one of his first tests on the road against the Raiders. And this team is not as good defensively as Detroit was. And so I give the Bears an edge over here. I think the odds makers are also giving the Bears an edge as they are a 1-point favorite in this game. I'm going with the Bears here to win a close game on the road against the Raiders. Up next, we got the Cowboys going up against the Green Bay Packers for the nightcapper on Sunday night. And the Green Bay Packers got a lot of explaining to do. That was a terrible performance against the Browns. And I know the Browns have a great defense, but what was the narrative before those games? Oh, this is the best team in all of football, and they're Super Bowl bound, and this, that, and the third. And even Parsons mentioned that even Super Bowl teams lose games like this. And I get it. You're crowning yourselves already before you even get your first title. I get that. Come in front of the congregation. Let me talk to you for a minute. You guys aren't there yet. All right. You're not a Super Bowl championship team yet. You have to get to that point. And the only way you get to that point is when your quarterback starts playing championship level football. And so far, Jordan Love is a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. He's a good quarterback. But is he on the level of a Brett Favre, of an Aaron Rodgers? I don't know yet. I still don't know. I don't think that, he's shown me enough to say, man, this guy can take these guys to the promised land. On the other side, you got the Cowboys, and I'm looking at the Cowboys like, man, y'all are terrible. Handing the Green Bay Packers this gift in the presence of Michael Parsons, man. I mean, you guys are terrible for that. And I'm so glad that the Bears put a beat down on the Cowboys, because that was revenge for allowing this trade to go through. And I think the Green Bay Packers are going to come into Dallas and rub it in even more on Dallas Cowboys fans, as Green Bay will walk away with the victory. They are a 7-point favorite. I think this is a blowout by the Green Bay Packers. On to Monday night's games. We got the Dolphins and Jets here. Not going to expound too long on this one. I got the Dolphins winning their first game of the season against the Jets. But shout out to Aaron Glenn for those amazing dance moves after almost pulling off the comeback against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And last but not least, we got the Bengals going on the road to go up against the Broncos. I think the Broncos recover from a couple of heartbreaking losses in a row, coming down to field goal losses. I think the Broncos will dominate this game against the Bengals. The Bengals do not look good, and it's losing Joe Burrow is going to really hurt this team. I had the Bengals being a playoff threat, but with the way they've been playing without Joe Burrow, I don't see it happening with this Bengals team. I got the Broncos winning this one. I think they bounce back. They're a 7.5-point favorite. I think they cover. And those were my picks, and I'm sticking to them. I am your sports barista, Rod the Magnificent. Thank you for choosing Coffee Break Sports. And again, hit me up on Buy Me a Coffee if you would like to get exclusive content. Also, follow me on Coffee and Beats. We just hit 200 subscribers on Coffee and Beats. So please follow me there if you want all that good music content. But until then, I am your sports barista, Rod the Magnificent. When it comes to coffee, when it comes to sports, stay grounded for life. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.